Good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC Evening News and our top story tonight. Air traffic controllers at the Grantley Adams International Airport are back on the job after a work stoppage this morning, protesting poor working conditions. They're now set to meet with officials of the Barbados Workers Union, the National Union of Public Workers, and the management of the airport on Friday to thrash out the issues. As Shane Seeley reports, the action led to an initial shutdown of the air traffic control tower.
It was not business as usual at the Grantley Adams International Airport this morning, where air traffic controllers withdrew their services, forcing closure of the air traffic control tower. Now, that did have some impact on the flight schedule this morning, but since then, they were able to put a contingency plan in place. That's what we're hearing from the corporate communications specialist here at the airport, Keith Goddard.
Yes, let me say off the bat, yes, it has affected the morning operations of the airport. Certainly flights which would have had to depart from Barbados, namely those going to North America or going to the Caribbean islands, would have been affected by this morning's operations. We are still investigating and we're trying to ensure that we can have smooth operations for those passengers and those flights which are going to be incoming in the afternoon. As you know, that's our busy period, so obviously our plan is in place to make sure that we can service those aircraft, which in some cases would have left the point of departure to come to Grantley Adams.
Understanding that there may have been some level of panic among passengers, Mr. Goddard advised travelers to call their respective airlines. And we're hearing that the issue which initially led to the strike action had something to do with problems with the air conditioning unit in the air control tower. I'm Shane Seeley for CBC News.
Thanks, Shane. Well, the National Union of Public Workers is fed up with the length of time it is taking for retrenched workers at the National Conservation Commission to have their matter heard before the Employment Rights Tribunal. Senior Industrial Relations Officer Wayne Waldron says the union is therefore summoning all retrenched NTC workers to a meeting on Wednesday at the union at 10 in the morning.
There is no indication that the outstanding unfair dismissal case filed with the Employment Rights Tribunal on behalf of terminated NCC workers will be heard this year. This situation is scandalous and demonstrates an indifference to the sense of urgency to ensure that the displaced workers are granted expeditious justice. In the absence of any definitive commitment by the relevant authorities, retrenched workers are in a state of uncertainty regarding satisfactory closure on their unfair dismissal claim. The NUPW is requesting that all retrenched NCC workers attend this very important meeting and determining the way forward.
Well, with a bleak economic outlook forecast for Barbados, there is a view that the island can capitalize on sporting events to help boost the economy. That is the view of the president of the Barbados Surfing Association, Christopher Clark.
Hundreds of tourists descended on the Super Bowl over the weekend, and from all indications, the event translated into revenue for businesses in the immediate area.
Most of the stores in the area have sold out all of their stuff, and they're just constantly restocking today because they don't have any more food and they don't have any more drinks. So, and it usually happens that way, and I try to warn them before the event comes, but sometimes they think that they might not do so well, but they definitely do well, and it supports the area. I don't think that there are any houses or hotel rooms available on the East Coast.
However, Mr. Clark believes more can be done by authorities to improve the sport, which attracted over 160 competitors in a single day.
Everyone in the surfing community in the world, they all want to come to Barbados. Every time we go away, they want to know when we're having an event that they can enter. This one's kind of limited to just people who are under 21, so that's why we get the smaller numbers at the moment.
First-time vendor at the East Coast surfing venue, Raquel Barker, was pleased with her sales.
My most popular items was chicken and breadfruit chips, yes. And natural juices, of course, yes.
You're a first time down here?
Yes, first time.
Meantime, regular operators also reported a steady flow of business.
This is our second year here. I could say that there's a slight decrease in sales this year, but all in all, it has been a balanced year compared to last year and stuff.
Sean Farrell, CBC News.
Another effort launched to tackle serious issues like bullying in the nation's schools. It's a banner campaign dubbed The Power of Choice. It was launched this morning at the Christchurch Foundation Secondary School by Errol Griffith, Managing Director of Free Mind Institute. Mr. Griffith, who conceptualized the program, says it will see over 100 banners with various positive messages in every classroom at that school. He revealed that the initiative has been endorsed by the Ministry of Education and will be taken to all schools across the island. He explains how it would help to address the issue of bullying.
Bullying is not right, but you know something? I can't control the bully. I control how I respond to the bully. And the bully can only injure my body, but the bully cannot injure my heart, my mind, or my spirit. So on one hand, it's to influence the bullies, or people who are choosing to bully, to decide, no, something, hold on, is this right? You know, I don't have to make that choice. I can make a different choice. But then at the same point, we also begin to empower those who maybe experience what we call bullying to realize that, okay, yeah, even if you hurt my body, I can take power over my inside. And so, one, hopefully we can influence the bullies to make better choices, but also we can influence those who have experienced the bullying to feel more empowered, feel stronger.
Cot Printery and Brankers have signed on to support the cause, and Mr. Griffith says students and Barbadians can follow the progress of the campaign on social media. Well, some children have the wrong attitude about going to school, and the Education Minister wants them to change it. Lisa Broom tells us more.
Minister Ronald Jones was speaking to a group of parents and children who graduated from a homework and reading project put on by police. He likened children who do not go to school as minds lost to society.
Get to school. You might not like every teacher. What? We're human beings, we don't like everybody. But what that has to do with it? What does your learning have to do with that? Your learning has to do with your transformation. Your ability to live a life of sense and purpose. So all of this naughty foolishness of children sauntering and looking over their shoulder to see which house they can tack in quickly, that must be eliminated in this society.
And Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police, Erwin Boyce, says there's a dire need for positive leaders in the community to come forward. He says there is no shortage of negative influences, but people who can contribute in the right way are often unwilling to offer their services.
There are leaders who give the wrong impression to young persons that there is lots of discretionary spending, that you can have a no, it's a no word. That once you do this and once you do that, you can have support. You don't need to engage in an 8-hour job. You just need to sit on a block, line, and at the end of the day, you get some sort of a reward. And there are those sort of leaders within the community. And as I said before, what we need to do is to transition our communities from that sort of thinking.
The program was sponsored by Pan American Life Insurance, and Chief Executive Officer Keith King says it's important to develop young people in the country.
We believe that if we can help to develop a number of our youth in this community, to take a number of our youngsters off the block, we would have invested in the lives of many of our people, our Barbadian people.
20 children ages 5 to 14 took part in the program, which was in its first year. It targeted children from Chapman Lane and New Orleans, and from all indications will resume next year. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
We'll have more news ahead, but first we want to get your take on this question. Do you think major festivals and sporting events will attract more visitors to Barbados? Text yes or no to short code 8111, the result at the end of our news.
You're looking good. I love your hair, your skin, so good looking. It must be the
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
The Barbados Food and Wine and Rum Festival, November 20th to 23rd. Taste the culinary delights of top local and international chefs like Marcus Samuelson, Anne Burrell, Tyler Florence, Roger Mooking, Michael Hines, Dane Sadler, Daphne's Restaurant, and more. The Barbados Food and Wine and Rum Festival, 5th edition, November 20th to 23rd. Visit foodwinerum.com or contact Premier Event Services Inc. at 435-0670. Get your tickets now at Wine World or TicketPal.com.
You're looking good. I love your hair, your skin, so good looking. It must be the
Pine Hill Milk. The Fair Trading Commission is being urged to identify the markets they're worried about as a result of the buyout by Cable and Wireless of its competitor Columbus International for $3.7 billion. The call from senior fellow at the Peter Institute for International Economics, Professor Avinash Prasad. He was a guest on the CBC Current Affairs program, The People's Business, which examined the Cable and Wireless Flow merger and its impact on Barbados's telecoms industry. He believes that if allowed, Cable and Wireless would become a monopoly in the data market and abuse its dominant position, contrary to the Fair Competition Act.
Nowhere else in the world will they allow going from two companies to one. I mean, if this deal was in Europe, it would be banned from day one. If this deal was in America, so it would be wrong to give the impression that there's something inevitable about this. If we had four in Europe, if you had four providers going to three, there'd be a big debate. Going from two to one.
Attorney at law and former head of the Financial Intelligence Unit, Gyson Mayer, says even if the deal goes through between the two entities, the Fair Trading Commission can stop the companies from operating as one here on the island.
The FTC can say stop.
In Barbados.
Not in Barbados.
Regional deal.
Yes.
But in Barbados, they can.
So even though they may be able to do their business elsewhere, the FTC can say, in our market, we are not going to allow you to operate because what you're going to do is going to snuff out competition.
And former chairman of the Consumer Protection Committee, Jai Jedbus Singh, was also a panelist on the program, and he believes the FTC won't stop the two companies from merging into one entity.
I hope to hear a public statement very soon, at least a preliminary statement as to the government position on this merger and what they're looking at, and perhaps, I don't think personally they're going to stop the two companies from merging. I don't think so. Based on our economic realities, that is going to throw everything into turmoil in the country, which I don't think we want to happen.
Meantime, President of the Barbados ICT Professionals Association, Andre Griffith, believes Barbadians will have to work with the new entity, even though they are unlikely to get a better pricing structure for data given past experiences with Lime.
If this really come to pass, I believe the FCC will have a role in proving to carriers, look, these are the rates that you got to stay by. So we had a rate for landlines. How about for bandwidth? We can put pressure on them. So I think that they cannot exploit the fact in terms that it's head knowledge that this thing is not as expensive as it was 10 years ago. It shouldn't be so costly to provide. Now that you have a pan-American sphere of influence with your services.
Communities across the island are being given the opportunity to share their story through this year's Dance Fest competition. National Coordinator of Dance Fest, Tyrone Trotman, says it is aimed at bringing the community together. The competition is under the Ministry of Social Care and Constituency Development. He was speaking at the preliminary round held at the Christchurch Foundation School, where 7 groups showcased their talent.
Thousands of young people, you should see how the young people come out in their fashion and to make fashion statements and come out on that particular occasion, and different communities come in and hail the particular groups, because our theme is using dance to kind of for social cohesion, to bring the communities together, and using dance as a means of communication, mass involvement, and social development. And this is the beginning, and this is the purpose of it, bringing communities, and this is the taste and the beginning of great things that are going to happen, and the whole social cohesion process that we are going to, you will see through Community Dance Fest.
Well, regional news is next, but first a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Text yes or no to short code 811. When you answer this question, do you think major festivals and sporting events will attract more visitors to Barbados? And you can also follow us on Twitter at CBC